to Delta Junction.
So his sister Bethany is that she thinks these are government rules that have built gaps into the discharge when they leave the state psychiatric hospital. Those providers.
Chena River, maybe it's pronounced, but we're coming back to do a drive to a hike, and I think this is our first view of the Alaska pipeline. It's kind of pretty. It's stainless steel back by where our campsite is, and but everything's kind of dumpy in Alaska. That it's pretty shiny. Here we are traveling to the Castner Glacier Ice Cave. This was a 1 hour and 15-minute drive from our campsite just north of Delta Junction. This was after driving 2.5 hours to relocate the trailer from Tuk. It turned out to be a really long drive day, but we really wanted to see the glacier. If I had to do it again, the pro move would have been to move the camper to a pull-off near the glacier. We could have saved some time and put the trailer in a really pretty area overnight. Also, the road, Richardson Highway, was in really good condition. No, buddy. It's too deep for you, buddy. That dirt's glacier. What's the glacier called again? If you look at the pictures online, it looks great. Must be a difference between winter and summer. Summer, a little more gray. My first iceberg. It's kind of funny because it just kind of looks like dirt. Like it's cool air's coming. It's kind of weird where this water's coming from. The glacier, buddy. Can you say glacier? No. The river stays to the left of the river. Eventually, yeah, we get there. Yep. Wonder if it likes the valley has some kind of a wind. Well, we finished the hike, and when I drove by before, we thought there was limited parking, so we parked down here and then went across a bridge, and we nearly got ran over by multiple people. So fun stuff. So we're packing up to leave Quartz Lake State Park, and it's an interesting experience here. I think you go to a park near a city, Delta Junction, you're gonna have a lot of locals, and in this case, in Alaska, the tourists are going to treat the campground much better than locals. And so last night, kind of loud, you know, midnight, people are still up laughing and partying. And culturally, maybe in the Yukon or Alaska, people come tent camping and they leave their dogs outside. They chain them up, and so the dogs bark and howl, and so we had those experiences. And then also there's a campsite near here where the dogs are just kind of running around and crapping everywhere. The dog shit. There's dog poop at our site. And then here, you know, just example, you know, all kinds of little bits and pieces. There's cigarette butts and flots, and you know, I would pick that up normally, but I'm just like, so much of it, it's kind of overwhelming. So yeah, yeah, I'd much rather been along the side of the highway last night than in this campground. But what are you gonna do? So there you go, buyer beware. Yes.
If you haven't met Claudio yet, this is him. He's the cutest member of the family. So we are leaving Quartz Lake State Recreation Area. So by and large, that's what I'm finding that Alaska calls it state parks or state recreation areas. It costs $15 per night, cash or check. These are first come, first served sites. And by and large, it suits its purpose. In other words, for us, we wanted an overnight where we could go out to the Castner Glacier ice cave and hike out that way. And then we also wanted to stop and see the end of the Alaska Highway, which is in Delta Junction. It also takes you by Fort Greely and the Alaska Pipeline. So there's a lot to see here. So
I'm gonna get the tag.
Oh yeah, no worries. So with that being said, you know, I came in and I did not have proper change, so I gave them $5 extra. I gave them 20 on a 15 because no one around here could make change. Even the guy that I made change for, who needed to break 100. So anyway, that being said, you know, there's nice spots. We got in here right around noon. We had a short travel day in order to be able to kind of do the other things we wanted to do. So it's definitely worth a stop. There are 2 other state recreation areas near us. There's the Delta Historic Recreation Area and the Big Delta Recreation Area. So if this one skunks you, there are 2 others close by. Now, what I will say from a negatory standpoint is we're here over 4th of July weekend, and there are some inconsiderate campers here. I travel with 2 dogs, and we always pick up poop. Sometimes I'm even picking up other people's poop because it's in my way. And that was kind of what was going on here. There was a woman with a small dachshund. She just let poop everywhere and didn't pick it up, so he stepped in it next to his driver's side door. There were like 2 tents down at the bottom that had like 3 or 4 dogs that they didn't seem to be cleaning up after their dogs. There was poop down by the boat dock. So
You see the site was unclean too.
And yeah, and so the campground hosts or operators don't seem to really do a great job with picking up trash. I spent a little bit of time this morning doing that. So it's not what we're used to with the Virginia state parks or almost any other state park that we've been to across the country, where people keep things clean and clean up after their pets. That could just be specific to this site, you know, but coming out of several U.S. state parks and such, this was a step down on the cleanliness level, and compared to Canada, this was also a big step down on the cleanliness level. But hey, it got us where we needed to be. We had a decently level site, and we're able to have an enjoyable trip. Just know that there might be some inconvenience from other campers, but you can get that anywhere. So worth the stop. 15 bucks a night. Make sure you've got plenty of water, and your batteries are charged up, and you're good to go.
And I would say, what was I going to say?
What were you going to say?
I don't know. Oh, I was going to say I have a philosophy on the travels. We've traveled a long time. And so if you get closer to a city where people live, and especially in Alaska, because people don't live everywhere. So if we're near Delta Junction, so if you're at a campground near an area where people live, then you're going to have what she suggested. If you're going to be out more in the wilderness where you're just going to have tourists, the tourists are more respectful, more respectful than the local residents, I believe. There's also a 2-mile road or 3-mile road into the campground.
It's a bit rough.
And it's rough, yeah. And so if you're gonna, like, we've only ever been like right off the road, so this one's rough. I'm driving 15 miles an hour, and it's probably a little bit too fast.
Oh yeah. Because, like, where was it that recreation area near Toke? That was the Eagle Creek State Recreation Area. We went out there for a hike. That place, I would stay there for $15 a night versus, you know, whatever we paid at the other place. Like, we needed full service, so we stayed at the Sourdough Campground, which was really nice. But, like, that state recreation area, I walked through 2 of the loops, both of which would accommodate large RVs.
I think that alters my philosophy because near a town where people live.
Well, there's not a lot, but it doesn't seem to be as heavily used as this one. There's a lot of boating activity and different things going on at the lake. So I just think it brings more people, and for whatever reason, the particular people that were there this weekend were not concerned about their dog duty being unsightly, and I mean, there was so much of it. This is why I'm mentioning it.
You mentioned the dogs being chained up outside.
Oh yeah, and what's up with people chaining up their dogs outside of their RVs and their tents and letting them bark till 1 o'clock in the morning? But again, it's a 4th of July weekend. I think other weekends of the year it's probably less chaotic. But I would stay there again, even with all of that.
50% asleep right now. Like, it's like I like.
Just a mere almost 48 hours having my truck clean. It's trashed again.
You're going to take a selfie with me if we're leaving.
We were told there might be reindeer over here, but everything says keep out, so no reindeer for us.
No reindeer.
It's like feels like 48 hours of rain, and so we came here. We had some bicycling opportunities, and so now we're gonna just go to the museum. We're gonna drive to Fairbanks and spend another day there. So too bad this weather wasn't in Denali. It looks like Denali is gonna open, but our campground's not gonna open. So I guess the question is do we find someplace else to camp near Denali, if that's possible? Probably difficult, and then or just skip it altogether. I expected at least a fragment. Maybe it's over there in the trees. So we're leaving this campground. We've had, really unfortunately, we've had 48 hours of rain. We didn't really get to do too much here, which is unfortunate. But it's kind of funny. You can hear in the background they're cleaning out the toilets. Yeah. I haven't seen that before in a campground, so kind of interesting. Luckily for us, we're not getting blocked like some people might be. So there you go. The pit toilets, I guess you'd call them.
I got contact for 2 o'clock.
Oh, really? Well, I guess we could have done the ride then.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't know that the riding here is
That's fine.
great, but
Where's the bed?
So what is non-potable water good for? Spraying your camper.
Yeah, exactly.
Dirt, mud off your camper. So I didn't want to take their mud with me, so I left their mud at the dump station.
Bingo.
Is that the same guy who checked us in?
No.
This is somebody else that was curious. So he had no idea where we were going then?
No.
Okay. So the holiday's over. It's Monday, right? And people are back to work. So back to work on this campground? Park, I guess is a better word for it. This road had these cuts, and
Where do they want you to go?
they want us to stop, so one way. They had these cuts. They're putting in new piping, so every like 50 feet they have a cut, and
You have a stop.
yep. Gosh, I thought we were out of the mud.
Oh God, no.
Well, we were until they ripped this shit out of this.
Yeah, that's true. You're doing something. Did you ask him about oil change?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he said, oh, about $100, which I think, so he either,
He's just confused.
yeah, he's probably confused.
Street.
Are they supposed to be like birch trees?
Maybe.
Destination is on the left.
The right side of it.
The right side. Well, if you go up to that stop sign in front of that yellow building, just put your
So on our travel day, we pulled the camper into downtown Fairbanks, and we're able to park here along next to the post office and receive our Amazon order. So it worked out pretty well. Pretty cool.
Fairbanks, Alaska. We have been walking the dogs for a couple of miles now.
Almost 2.5.
And so we have made it to Pioneer Park. And I think we're about to see an antique rail car.
Fake.
Maybe, but see there's the Chena Valley Railroad Museum over there.
I thought I'd see some kids, but we didn't see.
Well, you know, a family and their
Child.
a teenage child who probably didn't want to be on video, but
Could be.
he
Yeah.
now is.
Everything's
All
2
right.
weeks from everywhere.
So on our list, with sticks on this thing, we still have to hit Anchorage, which is 260 miles. Valdez is 261, and there's some distance between those two, so I'm not quite sure how they're getting that.
Homer's fun.
And then Seward is 333, and Homer is 381. So we got some driving to do.
It's not too bad.
So we need to find an air filter for Earl. He's a little dirty.
Yep, he is. Train car. Remember the name of the hike?
We are about to do the Esther Dome Outer Loop.
Just a short drive from the campground. It's nice. Groomed for fat bikes. All right, I heard you.
All the mud.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I ran into no one, so enjoy the beautiful trails.
You as well.
Take care.
Have a great day.
Yvonne is getting her first off-lead hike Well, portion of a hike.
And Carl won't admit it, but it's hike is being a pain in the ass.
I'm sure it was. Well, since I'm slower, it's a little bit easier for me to walk with that. But she has a phenomena where she, on lead, basically she pulls the entire time. You take her off lead, and she probably just sits where she is right now. It just kind of sets in and behaves. Some tools left down the trail. That's good thinking. Might be some creepy crawlers down here. See this? So skinny. You ride up it or you ride down it? It's off the ground, a little bit high for my liking. Alright, the hike complete, and it's kind of like hiking at home. No mountainous views or such, and it was on kind of a mountain bike trail. It's definitely built for mountain bikers, so.
But we only saw another hiker with her dog and 2 very fit guys running.
Yeah. And no one's here. The whole parking lot's empty now.
We closed the place down.
They didn't like our stink. All right, we're all hooked up and leaving River's Edge Campground, and I don't know what the number is now, 3, 4, 5 times now that we've had to hook up in the rain. Today was a soaker. It was not a mist, it was a real rain. So definitely nervous. We are headed towards Denali, and we were supposed to like go directly to our campground, which we booked on the first day. We paid extra money to have a nicer site, and that's all scuttled. We have nowhere to go. It was a 5-day reservation. We only have the last day. Everything else is scuttled because the fire crews took over the campground. And so anyway, our goal or our plan is to try to boondock, which we haven't done on this entire trip. And the only thing I can find is stuff off the road, which is a little weird. And so worst case scenarios, there's 2 spots that I have picked out, and then if we don't find those, we can go to the state campground, Denali State Campground. But unfortunately, that's over an hour and a half away from the park entry. So yeah, so fun stuff. We're now. Yesterday was kind of stressful, but now we're on the way to Fred Meyer, equivalent of Kroger, to get DEF.
All right, Fred Meyer meet for some DEF.
They were quicker than we were.
Those are our neighbors.
Mm-hmm. Like we were out working.
Well, there were 2 men.
Well, I don't know the dude in the Alexis did anything, but.
Well, when I went out there, both men were working outside.
Were they? I wasn't paying attention. Giddy up. We should have kept a log for everything, like number of times hooked up in the rain. This one's a real rain.
It is a real rain. The ground is just saturated.
Yeah. I looked up when I got this morning. I looked across the way, and I'm like, well, I'm glad I'm not over there, because that camp site was.
Oh, yeah. The other Virginia trailer is like surrounded by a pool.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I did use the pool though. Like we had mud still on some of our blocks, and
you just rinsed them off.
Rinsed them off in the puddle, and the puddle went black or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that worked. All right.
Big warning sign. Please do not climb on pipeline. It is
Oh, is that
difficult to
sign says?
maintain your balance. Yes.